you can see when the right front tire blows out. Right there, he takes off. You can see the black marks hard into the outside wall. We have several angles. One where it just shows the tire exploding as he goes into the corner.
And here comes that look. Watch it here.
Okay, right there. You can see the right front just exploded, and he's on his way there. You see him lock the brakes up as he goes up. These black marks right there go right straight up into the wall.
And that is right at 200 miles an hour. It may not look it sometimes because it is such a wide and long straightaway. It's right around that shifting point and so on. It really is a tough spot. Drivers have one hand on the steering wheel.
And again, speed gets under Petty. It looks as though those two get together. Here comes Brett Bodine. He's hit by Earnhardt in the rear, and Tarek Cope also hits Earnhardt from behind, and everything goes sideways at that point. The track basically got blocked when Speed and Petty ate up the entire length of the track. Here's it from a different angle.
And it's a major chain reaction. That's the problem, because we had several gentlemen with no place to go. First of all, you see the 83 car of Lake Speed getting into Petty, and now already Bodine was hard into him, hitting him in the left front corner. The number 3 of Dale Earnhardt, and Cope was already into it.
And it's a very unfortunate incident for a whole lot of very good cars this afternoon. And the field is still under caution here at Pocono International.
Vicious hit. He and Brett were together.
Oh,
man.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Holy cow.
Christmas. Wow.
He almost got that thing upside down.
You don't think they carry some speed around this flat racetrack?
Oh.
I tell you what, that screen right there on that window saved his life just then. I saw his head.
As he went into turn one, he was on the outside. It looks like Lake Speed might have lost an engine, or at least he lost the car, and Greg hit him, and they both head through that wall. Greg Sachs hit it hard with the right front, and then the car gets upset and starts rolling over as they come down off of the wall. Barrel rolling. Look how high it goes into the air, comes back down. Oh, over and over.
For Winston Cup cars and how strong they are. Look at that thing.
You can see the fire, Benny, under the hood of the car, and then it rests back on the top. And as we saw, then Greg Sachs.
Yeah, they both own the territory right there.
Now you watch the 28. Jimmy's still on the bottom, and they just touch right there.
And watch the 98.
Rick Mast just barely gets by on the inside in the 98 car there.
Mr. Lucky, Rick Mast on that one in the Cale Yarborough car.
Whole thing was set up.
We have been watching this battle between 4 or 5 cars, and Earnhardt finally got on the inside of Sterling Marlin as Marlin's car kicked out a little bit, so he made the pass. Here comes Harry Gant down on the inside of Bobby Hillen to get by him, and then he jumps on the inside of Sterling Marlin as well, and then Marlin comes down and into Gant. They touch, and around Sterling Marlin goes.
Hard impact with the wall. Here it is from another angle. See Gant and Marlin touch.
Almost identical to the spin we saw a moment ago with Dale Jarrett and Sterling Marlin.
Now one other car was involved in that. Rick Wilson spun and hit the inside retaining wall. There he is.
Bottom in the number 3.
You see Bobby Labonte get into his brother Terry Labonte. This triggers a chain reaction. You see everybody swept into it behind him.
And Earnhardt's about to collect number 5, Terry Labonte. Nowhere to go. There's Bobby Hamilton scooting through. Bodine on the outside getting by. Brett Bodine on the brakes. Derek Cope.
Take a look at it once again.
Okay, Sterling Marlin starting to move on the inside of Dale Jarrett, and he clips him and turns him around right in front of a big pack of cars.
And all these cars behind with no place to go start backing off, and tough break.
Now from another angle, we'll watch it again. There's a contact between Sterling Marlin and Dale Jarrett.
And Rusty Wallace just barely gets through that.
So did Jimmy Horton, the 17 car. Marlin appeared to escape sort of unscathed. Here you can see Alan Kulwicki spinning.
Ken Schrader down through the grass.
Yeah, that's the white car on the right side, white and green car on the right side of your screen. Ernie Irvin has just been involved in everything here today. He's been at the wrong place.
Let's wait for Ernie's car. Already around.
we couldn't tell whether he had contact or not prior to spinning, but that just turned him around right in front of Brett, and he had nowhere to go.
Well, Brett had nowhere to go either. He just was there, a victim of circumstance.
And you see Dale Jarrett on the right of your screen. He just said the only place that's clear is pit road, and he came hightailing it down. And if you're curious, in an instance like this, you do not get penalized for speeding on pit road as you escape an accident scene.
Just nowhere to go for Brett. He'd already committed up against the wall and already turned around right in front of him.
Did you see Todd Bodine in the 94 bearing down on his brother in the 11?
Wow. Incident of the day. We'll see if we can determine what happened.
Well, a lot of cars headed into the turn. It looked like they all tried to get there at the same time.
Looks like Riggins mates, for some reason, spun in front of the field. And the cars are 2 or 3 abreast in the back. They start spinning and just trying to slow down.
Look again at what happened. Up into the wall go Lake and then Ricky Craven spinning. Hard on the brakes on the low side of the track. You saw Johnny Benson, that yellow Pennzoil Pontiac.
Urban were battling for the lead in turn 3.
They're coming off the corner. Ernie runs up and just touches the 12 car in the back enough to send him spinning. Hutt almost saves it, but then he goes back across the racetrack, and look at Richard go over the nose of that 5 car. Here comes Earnhardt. He hits the 5. The 42 car comes off the wall, and boom, Darrell Waltrip hits the 42 car and then goes into the inside retaining wall.
I'll tell you, it's lucky that somebody didn't hit the abutment there separating the racetrack and pit road.
Here it is again, Hutt up high. And you see, when they're coming off that turn, fellas, they can't just cut those cars to the left and get out of the way, because the momentum is going to the outside of the track. And so when something's in the way out there, they just aren't able to do much with the cars.
There we see the 42 car once again right in the smoke as he comes off.
Now, I have to keep my eye on Dale Jarrett. You know, he's sort of coming down through there for the 4th time today. He has weaved his way through one of those things. The gods are riding with him.
Watch the right side of your screen here. Ooh.
Well, you've seen it right there. Evidently, he got contact with somebody, which was not very, very clear. Looks like the blue car.
Is that his brother?
Or
is that Dave? I'm not sure.
You know, you don't want to really say who it was.
Not sure.
There was contact.
We need to show that one more time. That car come very close to getting upside down. The back end of that car goes way up on the wall there. Watch it jump again. That thing is really bouncing up through there. Now we have an in-car look at what happened.
From Derek Cope. Everybody checks up. Ooh, he got into the back of the 29 car. There goes on the right.
Watch this car come off the ground. Ooh, I mean, he was up in the air.
Folks, that had nothing to do with aerodynamics or roof flaps or anything.
All right, let's watch what happened. The accident is happening in front of Davey Allison. That's Dave Marcus in the 71 car.
Marcus backs off when he sees the crash, hits the brakes hard. Davey just can't get stopped. And there's the crash starting. There's Derek Cope, the Purelator Chevrolet, spinning. He goes up the racetrack and watches he and Jimmy Spencer meet head on.
There's Rick Mast coming in. He gets his car slowed down, the car number 1, and Marcus spins, and then...
I'm sorry, I thought that was not Rick Mast's car.
Spencer hits the car number 10 then, who is sitting right in front of him.
And here it is from another angle.
There we see some contact between Morgan Shepherd. He's on the inside, and the Derek Cope Purelator Chevrolet, as I mentioned a moment ago. Now, I thought this red car, that Morgan, I thought that's fellow who they hit nose to nose, but he stops, and then Spencer comes along, and look how he jacks that rear end up off the ground.
He hit him hard. Well, it's lap number 21. We should be seeing...
Here's what happened.
Looked like they had a little contact there, then he got into the right rear corner, and both of them go into the wall pretty hard there.
And those cars are junk. See Marlin's, the front end is all caved in, and the right rear on Chuck Bound's car is moved.
Take a look at it again. It happened outside of turn 2.
See some contact between Darrell Waltrip and Davey Allison, and the car just flew through the air.
Well, it got on the air, in the air very quickly.
It goes over the top of the guardrail.
Yep.
Flipped right over the top of the guardrail.
It looked very much like Darrell Waltrip's crash at Daytona last year.
Here they come off the corner. And Darrell Waltrip is trying to go by on the inside of Davey Allison. And Davey comes down to try to block that move. And just some contact there. And just as soon as that car touched the grass, it flew.
Turned over.
Now they're not. Are they required to run the skirts on the right side of the cars here like they do at Daytona and Talladega?
I don't believe so, man.
And you can see that once the air got up under the right side of that car, it just flipped it the wrong way. I say the wrong way against the momentum that the car had.
Here they go down the corner. Oh, Cribb's car sideways. The 99 car got sideways directly in front of the 29. Oh, Cribbs really got into that outside wall. You saw the car come flying back up in the air. He hit nose first, spun around, went in head first. I did see him moving, Ken, a little bit just before we went to this.